Part 2, you took my car, I took everything you loved. Alright, you ready for the rest of this? Because things got real messy. So, after Jake took my car and trashed it, I was pissed. I mean livid. But it wasn't just about the car anymore. He didn't just ruin my dream car, he made a joke out of it. So I was gonna make sure he never took anything I cared about again. I didn't just want him to feel bad, I wanted him to hurt. I wanted him to know exactly what it felt like when someone destroys something you love. First, I took him to court. Yeah, I could have handled this differently, but the legal system was my opening move. I filed for the damages and got the court to award me restitution. The judge agreed, Jake owed me. But I knew that wasn't enough. It didn't feel like justice. While the court stuff was happening, I started planning. I knew Jake's triumph was his pride and joy. He treated that bike like it was his firstborn. So I began working out the details, the timing, the routes, where he'd be, when he'd be there, and how to get his bike without him noticing. It was easy, honestly. Jake was cocky. He thought I was just gonna sit back and collect a check. Nah, I was gonna make him feel exactly what I felt. I took the bike. Yeah, I did. I'm not going to give you a play-by-play, that's not the point. The triumph was gone before Jake even realized it. No spectacle. No footage. Just absence. Here's the shift, everything I put online was about my car, not the bike. I posted the photos of the ripped interior, the busted radio, the gouge in the trunk. I made the story clear and cold, he borrowed it, he trashed it, he ghosted me. People saw it and they reacted the way the internet does, loudly. I started a GoFundMe, laid out the receipts, and strangers began donating. Anger funds quick, strangers wired cash because they hate injustice and love the illusion of fixing it with money. The donations covered the repairs and then some. The court money cleared. That was the public part. What I didn't post about was the triumph. Nobody online ever knew what I did to it. Instead, I left clues in the real world, tiny, private things only Jake would register. Not dramatic chest thumping, just needles of memory. A torn piece of leather tucked under the bumper of the pub where he kept leaving his helmet. A coffee receipt from the pier slid between the spokes of his favorite bike rack. A scratched out line on a flyer at his local cafe that quoted the dumb nickname he used for the triumph. Nothing traceable, nothing for strangers to decode, only things that would make him look twice and choke on his own panic. He started to unravel. He plastered missing posters, begged followers for help, promised rewards. He filmed himself pleading. But the internet had already decided. My posts about the car painted him as careless and entitled, the fundraiser made me the wrong party getting fixed. People rallied behind my story. Recruiters who had been in his DMs suddenly ghosted him. Mutual friends stopped texting. Job leads cooled. The missing bike became the first in a line of losses. Jake filed police reports. He cried on camera. He begged for leads. I kept my public face calm, court photos, repair updates, the GoFundMe balance ticking up. The binder of evidence sat in my passenger seat like proof that the ledger was being balanced. And then the slow collapse happened. He lost easy favors. He was left off plans. Conversations that once started with jokes now started with awkward distance. People who had trusted him hesitated. He had to explain himself at interviews. He had to answer texts from friends he'd hurt without meaning to. It wasn't one big blow, it was a series of small doors closing. I sent him one final, private message, a line only he would recognize, a callback to the night he asked to borrow my car. No gloating. No evidence. Just a reminder. He begged and pleaded and tried to turn the narrative back around. He sued. He screamed theft on camera. The police asked questions. The fund paid my shop. I got the legal money and the online donations. I fixed the car as best as I could. I framed the court order. In the end, he had nothing he could parade anymore, no bike on the hook, no casual invites, fewer job prospects, and a reputation that carried a crack. I had my car back, my repairs paid for, and the satisfaction of watching him pay in ways the judge couldn't mandate. And no, I didn't feel bad. I felt precise. I taught him a lesson in a language he'd understand, absence, private reminders, and the slow unspooling of the life he thought was untouchable.